thanks for watching the podcast, guys. It's going off pretty well and it's a bit of fun. Hopefully we're getting better as we go. We've got some new merch coming out, so have a look and see what you think about it. Have a great day.
Still the same shit, just a different day.
Seems to be changing a bit of a Volvo out here, mate. What's going on?
Yeah, I like my Volvo.
Yeah, the car.
Oh, that piece of shit.
It's a bit of a weapon.
I don't know how it still fucking goes, but it does.
Because it's a Volvo.
Yeah.
It's the only reason it still goes.
Fucked, right. But she had that bullshit all over it.
Yeah.
So she's been scrubbing the windows and it's come off, which is fucking good because now I know to do the back home.
Yeah.
I'll get that clean. I smashed the back window, the corner window on the back home.
Yeah.
And now you can see out it. I'm like, fucking presses me every time I hop in it. So now I can scrub the rest. Righto, we're into it.
No.
Well, today we have Mr. Ramsay here.
The way you put the sludge.
Good. It's been a little while between drinks.
It's been a long while. Definitely been a long while.
Yeah.
Maybe nearly 12 months, I suppose, since we've had a beer.
Yeah, it has been.
Maybe. Macmaster would have been it.
Macmaster would have been it. Yeah. Everyone's been busy.
Our wedding.
Wedding, that was prior to that.
Yeah, that was before the Macmaster, the wedding.
Prior to the wedding. Yeah.
You'd be better off sitting there and saying nothing, Wendy.
I know. I'm not going to talk from now.
Nah, nothing changes. We've always got to have some background.
Background noise. Yeah, no, it's been a while. Yeah, Macmaster was the last one, which was a good time.
Yep, definitely. That was a great show.
That was a big show.
They do a very, very good job there.
Yeah.
The boys are doing very well.
Huge few days that.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of trucks and lots of gear. It's just getting more and more momentum by the bloody time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's becoming very popular. I think if now COVID's over and a few things are starting to flow, we might even see some Eastern States people coming. It's getting a bit of traction. There's been talk. There's been a few guys from over east making noises about coming with their trucks.
Yeah, well, last year we had a few, didn't we?
Yeah.
There was a couple come over, 2 or 3.
Yeah, there was a few guys.
There was that black Kenworth, that new one.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a nice piece of gear.
That was very nice. Very, very nice. But no.
I have noticed, because we were over there filming the other day with the new series, I have noticed, they've got some nice gear over there.
Amazing. We got some nice stuff in WA, but the East Coast is really taking it to another level again. It does help. We've got sealed roads in most cases.
Yeah, well, they're not running around on the dirt, are they?
Yeah. Our dirt here takes its toll on the salt water they use to water the roads. It takes its toll on our trucks, but
eats everything.
Yeah, the East Coast is definitely have an edge on us.
Yeah.
Some amazing gear there. Give them credit. It's absolutely amazing.
It's starting to rub off a bit here, but it's still a wee way off.
Yeah,
but it's getting better all the time.
Yeah. I suppose today we're here to talk about a few things. I suppose how we met.
Yeah.
We've been friends for a long, long time. Many years.
Long time.
Maybe a marriage or two and a divorce or two.
Yeah, there's been a couple of them, hasn't there?
There's a couple of
those involved. We were talking about truck drivers the other day. They seem to have a few marriages and a few divorces.
Yeah. We've lived through all those and we're still here.
Yeah.
So
the woman come and go and we stay.
Yeah. We didn't get any background noise then.
No. Doesn't dull point.
No. Yeah, so no, we've been friends now for a long time, I suppose. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Been more than 10 years at least.
Yeah.
Been poking along and having trucks, seeing ourselves grow and change. And
do bits and pieces and change in and out of different things. And
having employees and staff and more trucks and numbers. And my business has probably done the opposite to yours. We've grown and done different things.
Got bigger than I ran.
Yeah. And you decided that you'd had enough and got rid of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and as it's turned out now, I'm probably glad I did wind down when I did.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been very stressful trying to keep that floating with after the accident.
After the accident, it would have turned into shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably good timing.
It was probably good timing. And
yeah.
And poor old Jacko was a bit of that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was one of the big factors in getting out. And you've gone I suppose you've gone the opposite way with staff, so.
Yeah, we've got sort of lucky to have the right people around us. It makes a difference, we've got the right guys in our system to help keep growing it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it without those people. They're my key people. It makes a difference, whereas I guess you got to the point where you were starting to do more and more yourself and more pressure. if you just happen to have the right person come along that can pick up the reins, it makes a difference, which is what I've got.
Made it so much easier for you.
We wouldn't be doing what we do today without the guys I have. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Absolute amazing.
And I think you get to that stage, as you get bigger, you get through that stage of struggling with people.
Yeah.
And as you get bigger, it gets easier because you have more gear, more people around. And
yeah. It's one of those things they say if you build it, they'll come. And
yeah.
It does work like that. When you get to a certain size, it starts to fuel itself a little bit.
Yeah.
So, which is a good thing.
Yeah. And you're a bit younger, makes it easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I feel it every day, but it's still here.
You know, I mean, where we are now, but I'm 57 now, I have no interest in. I'd love to have a fleet of them, but I have no interest anymore.
No.
I'm too old to start that battle again, I think.
Yeah, and to go through the changes of the industry.
The industries.
The chain of responsibility, there's so much of it that's changed now that's become so tough. We find that the older guys are getting out, the younger guys are coming in, but they're not the same as us when we came in.
No.
You know, both of us come from a trucking background. You know, my father had trucks, the second generation.
We're both second generation, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it. I do. I love the industry. I love what I do. There's no ever an argument about that.
No. And people always go, how do you do what you do? And I always say, I have no idea how I did as many hours as we did.
We all did.
But I love doing what I do. I said, I never went, I don't go to work.
Yeah.
I love what I did.
Yeah.
I never did anything that I did when I had the earth moving gear. I didn't like it, so I pissed it off.
Yeah.
I like trucks.
Yeah, like driving the trucks. And you got to drive what you love.
Well, and we're probably both very lucky. We've both got Pete's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although you don't drive yours every day, it's still there, and it's and you drive what you want to drive, I suppose, when you're lucky.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've all had the different types of trucks and European trucks and different things, and I've got some of them still now today that I don't drive, and they are beautiful to drive. But it's not the same as driving an old truck.
No.
It doesn't have that nostalgic feel. The sounds, everything that happens with them is just not in the new trucks. You don't get that. I don't know how to explain it, but there's a nostalgic value to an old truck.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It's
I love the Volvo up there in the yard. Dan's one. I love it.
Yep.
There's no bonnet. It's automatic. You just hop in it and zip round. Yep. I seem to come home with a new scratch on the bull bar every time I take it out lately. I'm thinking, I'm a wee way away from that, but I'm not that far away, obviously.
Yeah.
But, I've cut bloody most of my life was Volvo.
Yeah.
And then I had the Louis.
Yeah.
And the Scanias. And the Volvo and the Scania were just European, so they were as good as each other.
Yeah, Scania was a great product.
They were a nice truck too. But then the Pete's just a league of its own.
Yeah.
I love the Hero on camera. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah, well, the same. My W model's probably a similar area to what my Pete is. It's an amazing truck.
Yeah.
Done a lot of hard work. Still goes. Still works today. Not as hard as it used to. But, it's been an amazing thing to have.
Yeah.
But, we all started, I think our family started with 1418s, which...
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah.
And old Austin Mastiffs, 1418s. I think 1418 was the one that killed Dad.
Yeah. You remember you telling me that?
Yeah.
But there's not many transport companies that would be, built back in the 80s, the 70s, 80s and 90s that didn't have a 1418 or even a G88 Volvo.
Yeah.
Everyone had it. They were the truck that built.
Australia was
built
G88 and that. New Zealand was the old Fodens and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we never really got the Fodens here as late as what you did. There was a few early ones here. Boots and those guys had heaps of them up in Sydney, but they never really got here as much. They were here, but they weren't just in the same numbers you got. You got them later when they were rebadged into a Foden. But, most people have started with an old Merc or a Volvo and built themselves into a Kenworth or a B-model Mac or something like that. They were the trucks that built them.
Yeah.
They were pretty amazing for this country.
Yeah, no, they were. And they're still around.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of those old grills are still here, which is quite amazing. And it's nice to see them all restoring them and doing all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've definitely got a collection of them. sitting in a shed.
Yeah, you've got all the Mercs.
Yeah, we got heaps of them.
Catalano's have got the Max.
Yeah. So Clemson's do beautiful jobs on them.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Bloody beautiful trucks. Yeah, no, there's some nice stuff around.
Yeah, come from there, we've gone a long way.
Yeah.
And, I guess around COVID time was when our life changed, wasn't it, for all of us?
Yeah.
That was pretty tough.
That was a big thing. That was when we went on our holiday.
Yeah, we were supposed to go to Alice Springs for
Hall of
the
Fame.
reunion, yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to that in 2015 with my father.
Oh, yeah.
Mum and Dad and I, we went to that. And we said we're going to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 5 years later, and that's when you and I set off to go there. And we planned it, and COVID happened.
Yeah.
And,
COVID caused a lot of havoc.
oh, yeah, certainly did. We were probably very lucky that we could just keep functioning like we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that never made any difference to us, did it?
Not particularly.
You were still moving horses and stuff. And
Yeah, we were still
doing
able
fuel.
to function.
Everyone still had to function.
Yeah.
Which we were probably pretty lucky, really.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, very lucky. There's a lot of people out there that never recovered from it.
Yeah.
And, a lot of small businesses got lost, and even you look around now with some of the small businesses in small towns, they've just never come back.
No.
They've never come
No,
back.
they haven't, have they? A lot of towns have got just empty shops everywhere nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so as I guess a knee-jerk reaction to the COVID happening, we decided we'd go on holidays, and a friend of mine from Port Augusta in South Australia, I'd sort of go on holiday to something with him every year or two, and he said, "Oh, we've got tickets to go to the Darwin Cup. Just want to go do that."
Yeah.
So
We met in Darwin.
yeah. So we said, "Oh well, since we can't go to Alice Springs, or we may get there if COVID settles down in the process, we'll hook up the caravans and
So we took the trucks. We took your W and my Pete.
took our fifth wheelers and
Fifth wheelers.
off we went.
With the Polaris in the back.
Yeah,
That was a good thing.
that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
So our journey started off, and we were gone for 6 weeks.
Something like that.
6 or 8 weeks.
We had
something like
another week. I remember on our way home, where the hell were we? Coral Bay.
that. Yes.
And you said, "Oh, I've got to go home for work." And I said, "Well, I ain't going home for work."
Yeah.
You left us.
They left and you
Bolt
stayed.
left us high and dry and pissed off.
Yeah, we had to go.
We went back to Exmouth, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coral Bay wasn't that good a place.
No,
As good as it used to be.
it was busy. We were quite surprised when we got there. I hadn't
Yeah.
been there for a long time. We used to go there on the odd fishing trip with some friends, and got there and just couldn't believe that there was bitumen roads and it got so big.
Yeah. It's just all
But
changed, isn't it?
it was totally different. Yeah.
When I was there before that, there was nothing. There wasn't a bitumen road. There was all dirt.
Yeah.
She was just cool place.
Oh, awesome place. Really, really nice. Yeah, do enjoy it there.
Yeah.
But so our journey started, I suppose, and first night we stayed in Mega or Magnet.
Yeah, out at the racetrack there.
Yeah, I reckon it was Magnet.
Yeah, I reckon it was actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're a bit late getting away.
Bit late getting away.
Wait
Got in
for
there
the-
a bit late. Yeah, waiting for getting organised.
Getting organised.
So that was the start of our journey with not too many plans. Every day was a new day, and we just went where we wanted to go.
That was the best bit. We didn't have to stay anywhere.
No, we had people to catch up with along the way that we knew. We just had to be there whenever we got there. But
Yeah.
there was the only date we had set was Darwin race day.
And I think we were going to be in Darwin for 3 days,
Yeah,
and it was a week or something later.
yeah, we had it there for nearly 2 weeks or something.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah,
Darwin was the baddest place.
we had a lot of fun there. That was a great place. Good people. We just fell on our feet there with some friends.
Yeah.
So we
Headland was the good one.
Headland was great.
Headland was that friend of yours,
Steve Myers.
Steve.
Yeah.
Took us all around. We got in that boat and
Yeah, did the tour of the harbour.
did the tour of the harbour.
That was really good.
Quite
And,
unusual.
Steve was a big part of my childhood, I guess, growing up. In my teenage years, he drove for my dad.
That's right. Yep.
Pretty well was the guy that taught me to drive a truck in the early days. There was a couple of guys that did. Obviously, my father was one. Taught me a lot of stuff, but Steve taught me a lot more out on the highway. And then some other guys that come along different times we were talking again, but it was good to catch up with Steve and Helen and his young bloke Tristan. I hadn't seen them for a long time.
Yeah, that was nice. Actually.
Yeah,
It was
stayed there for a day or two. We did 2 nights there. I
2
think.
nights, I think we did.
Yeah. And the tour of the harbour. That was really good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
was interesting because we found out a lot of stuff, and I didn't realise the amount of ore, I suppose, that goes out of that joint.
It's huge.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely huge.
I mean, you see it coming in every day in trucks and in and out and stuff like that, but you don't realise the scale, do you?
No.
You pass 20 trucks and you've only seen 2 of them because they're all the same, so you don't.
And the money that generates for our economy was phenomenal. I forget what it was when he told us what it was, but it was it's significant to the Australian economy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And after we left there, we worked our way through and...
we stayed at some, after that, where did we go next? Halfway to Broome, did we?
I reckon we made it to...
that bridge. Remember we stayed at that bridge?
We stayed with No, the Grey River.
The Grey River,
we didn't go very far, did we?
No, we didn't go far.
We left late. We didn't go very far. Ended up with the Grey River, stayed there. That was good.
That was bloody cool night.
Oh, there were so many people there when we got there.
Yeah. And then when we got out of bed, they were all gone.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a learning. I reckon that was probably the learning curve, one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull up early.
Pull up early.
Get going early.
Yeah.
But pull up early.
Yes.
That was the key to it.
The key to it, yeah.
Yeah. The time we pulled up the first few nights, it was bloody nearly dark and you're running around in the dark trying to get shit out.
And it's hard to get that bit of truck driver out of you that wants to go a little bit further.
Yeah. Oh, we'll just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, next minute, you're sort of doing big days, so.
Yeah.
We left there, went to Broome, called in there on our way through.
How good was that?
We stayed at the race course with some friends, that was good.
Yeah.
Played around there for a night or two. It was good.
Yeah, that was quite good. Yeah. And then from there we went up into that, when we stopped at that camp spot and it had the bloody lake.
Yes. It was an old gravel pit.
Yeah.
From World War II. We found
that
was amazing. What a beautiful place that was. Yeah. It was a bit of a rough wild road getting in there, but we it was worth the drive.
It was worth it.
Yeah, for sure worth it.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. We did worked our way through Kununurra, stayed at the racecourse there. We stayed at a lot of racecourses.
Yeah.
With our connection with the racing and the horses, probably made it easy for us.
Oh, mate, yeah, because we never had to worry about room, did we?
No, and having trucks as big as we had, we didn't fit into the everyday
caravan
park. It was very much a challenge. But we spent a few days at Kununurra. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We went for a fly, and me and Wendy went for a fly in a helicopter and had a look over the lake, and we did all sorts of bits and pieces there.
Yeah. We caught up with an old mate there. Old Will come down.
Yeah.
Will George. He lives in Broome now. Drove for me for a couple of years. And
yeah.
Really, really nice fellow. Anyone who knows Will knows what I'm talking about, but he's a bloody good bloke. So he came down and caught up with us there and a few other people along the way. We met.
Was quite cool. Yeah.
And after that, we worked our way, I reckon, we've been close to Victoria River the next night, weren't we? Good river, I reckon. We went helicopter there.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, yeah.
That was amazing.
That was pretty cool. Actually, we had to shit up. Yeah, he was a Kiwi pilot, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a champion.
Yeah.
It's always a bit concerning when they weigh you and they say, we're going to take the doors off the helicopter because you're too fucking heavy.
Yeah. And if we make it over the fence, we'll be right.
Yeah, if we can make it over that fence, we'll be right. If you got the leg of this thing in that fence, mate, we are in big trouble. So I prefer you not to try that.
We had a few beers the night before too. So
we're a bit hungover.
That was but the flight there was bloody sensational. The crocodiles.
Oh, they were unbelievable.
And that, I'll never ever forget when we flew up that valley.
Yeah.
The bloody, up on the side of the valley there was that big dam.
Yeah.
That was just beautiful.
A bit of white beach on it.
Yeah.
Sitting there and you think, how does this end up being in the middle of the never never?
Yeah, it was in the middle of bloody nowhere.
Yeah.
It was
just like a little oasis that you just never think would exist there.
And it's a little place you probably never ever would have stopped.
No.
You just sailed on by and never seen it.
Yeah, we pulled in there. We had a great time.
Yeah, that was another really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We worked our way and eventually got into, we sort of we hightailed it a little bit after that and worked our way straight into Darwin.
Yeah.
A couple more stops. We were starting to get a bit sort of pushed on time to get in and get settled and make sure we were there. With COVID being a bit silly and things happening, so.
Yeah, because they kept bloody doing.
Yeah, opening and shutting things and changing the rules every day was like a
race.
Okay.
Broome went fishing and everything.
Oh, yeah, on the way up.
Darwin.
Broome.
Did we go fishing on the way up in Broome?
No, on the way home.
The way home, yeah. That was coming back, yeah.
Yeah.
At Jack's boat. So, yeah. Oh, so we get back on track again.
Yeah, so we hightailed it. We had a look at that. Remember we went to that cool Roadhouse pub?
Yes, the one that was shut down.
The one that was shut down.
That was amazing.
That was a cool spot.
Yeah, it was cool.
And it bloody sold. We were going to have a look. Remember on the way home, we rang the real estate to go and have a look.
Yep. That was a pretty amazing place.
That was a cool place.
Yeah, that was between Catherine and Darwin.
Yeah.
What it was called now?
We stayed at Catherine, didn't we?
No.
No, we went, I think we stayed there at that pub.
Yes, we stayed at that pub that night.
That night.
Yeah.
Because everyone was shit themselves. Didn't want to stay
It was
because
a bit weird.
the vibes were weird.
Yeah, it was a bit weird being abandoned and everything was there. Like they just shut the doors and walked off. The
Yeah.
place was still, everything was still there.
Just incredible.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and nobody had been there. But apparently there was an Aborigine. Went to sleep under a trailer
Yeah.
and got squashed.
Got squashed, yeah.
That's what the story was or something.
Yeah.
And they shut it down and
Yeah, become a bit of a problem or something.
Yeah.
Someone told us.
I don't remember what it was now, but it was something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was funny, wasn't it? They just walked away and left everything. The chairs were still sitting at the bloody tables.
Yeah, the pool table was still at the back with everything on it, ready to go. Yeah, it was pretty high.
It was pretty bloody cool, actually.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That
Then
was-
we rolled into Darwin with no plans
yeah.
because the organisation of you and me is probably not the greatest sometimes.
No,
We were nearly in Darwin and said, oh, we're here for a week.
where are we going to park?
Where are we going to park these trucks?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a bit of calling around some of the caravan parks, couldn't get in anywhere. No hope. So I had an old mate of mine that I met through helping him out a few years before down in Perth, and he said, if ever you're in Darwin and you're
Come on,
stuck,
stay.
give me a call. Cause
I don't think he thought World War III was going to drop in his lap.
No. So I rang old Bernie up. He said, I need some help, Bernie. What do you need? So I need somewhere to park these 2 trucks and caravans. Have you got any dogs? I said, yeah, we've got 5 of them.
You got a whole fleet. You had a whole fleet. We only had one.
You only had one. We had heaps of them.
Bloody yours chundering all over the floor in your caravan.
Yeah, it was really good, wasn't it?
Shitting somewhere. I'm sure there was a sprayed shit somewhere too. And a few spews.
Poor old dogs. They
Poor
were starting to
old
get pretty old. It was their last trip.
Yeah.
Then Barney goes, well, he said, come around my place, we'll have a look. So we'll find you somewhere. Just come around here. Well, then he decided we'd fit in his backyard next to his house or in his shed.
Which was good because it was right close into Darwin.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't miles out. But it was just far enough to be out of town too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Barney was living on his own.
Yeah.
Barney just,
His old SAR.
yeah, the SAR, the Atkinson he was
Oh, yeah. I can
restoring.
see that.
Yeah, the cab off it when we were there.
There, yeah.
He finished that. He did get that finished.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he spent our time there, and he was a bit of a funny old fellow, and he?
I think he warmed to us once.
He wasn't too sure about us.
He just didn't like standing in your dog shit.
No,
That got him rolled.
didn't like that. Well, you got your dogs? He said, I'll ask you one thing. Don't shit all over my lawn. Yeah, nah, that didn't work.
He went out to do his sprinklers one night and come back with toes full of shit. He was a bit pissed about that.
Yes, I reckon we'd find a video of that.
Yeah, there would be a video
I reckon
somewhere
we'll
like
have a
that
video
one.
of that. That was pretty funny. We had some funny times there.
Yeah.
The old Noddy van to drive around in and the ute.
Yeah.
It was good.
Darwin was a place that's evaded me my whole life. And
Yeah.
that's why I was so keen. Never got past Kununurra.
Yeah.
And there was just so much to do in that place. It was incredible.
Amazing how it changed too, because that was the first time I'd been there since 2001. I went there with Dad with his racehorses. He spent a season up there, so I drove him and his horses up and left them there, and then brought them back after the race season. And the town was still a very small, basic town. There was no high-rise buildings or anything there then. When we got there, it was sort of a bit of a shock to the system, you know. Well, geez, this has changed a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. We lost Barney last year.
Yeah, that was a bugger.
Yeah,
I was
cancer.
sort of wanted to catch up with him again. He was just a real carrot.
Oh, what a funny bloke. And, so he sold that place up there and shifted over near Townsville.
Yeah.
to a place out the back there in the hills, and I used to speak to him about once every couple of weeks, see how he was going. And so I rang him early last year, it was, see how he was going with his new place. He said, he said, there you go. I said, yeah, no, I'm going pretty good. He said, it's not a good phone call for you. I said, why? He goes, this is how he talks. It's not a good phone call.
Yeah.
He said, he said, no, I've got cancer. He said, I've only got a month or two to live. I was like, bloody hell, are you serious or what? So, he said, yeah. Jesus, that's pretty calm about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, he said, don't you turn up here. I don't need you coming up here. And I sort of didn't really get a chance because it all happened to be fast, but I wanted to sort of get Tanya and fly up there. And you'd not long had your accident, just to recover from that. And had it been pre that, you and I probably would have got on a plane and said, we'll go and see Barney. So then he only lasted another 8 or 9 weeks and passed away. So
he's probably too stubborn to do much about it.
Yeah, he tried, and they sort of said he was too far gone. His daughter went up and spent a bit of time with him. And
well, was he? He getting on a bit, was he?
Probably not so bad. He's 60-ish, I suppose. Super old.
Oh, he wasn't super old then, was
he? Yeah. No, 60 or 65, I reckon he was. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't old enough to be going through that,
no.
I thought.
No.
So, that was a Darwin trip. Got up there. We
went to
did the races.
That was a bit of a...
that was a mega day. That was a bit of organised chaos.
Yeah. You could have done with a pair of shorts and a singlet.
Yeah. It was,
not dressed like a monkey.
It was bloody hot.
Oh, yeah.
Bloody hot. Didn't bother Dave, though.
No.
As usual.
He
just had fun.
Yeah, no, the heat didn't do... Yeah, that was pretty bloody wild, that. And humid too, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it was nice too. It was a good time of the year when we were up there.
Absolutely.
And we went out and did all the... Me and Wendy jumped on the bike and went for a cruise out around all those swimming holes.
Yeah, the holes, Adelaide River.
Adelaide River. And I reckon probably when we left Darwin, then we went down... Where did we go? Stayed at Daly Waters.
Yeah,
Mataranka.
We met all the guys from the army.
That's right.
The army boys. Bloody hell. That was a game-changing, fun weekend.
Yeah.
That was...
and those guys were unreal too. They all bloody come over and wanted photos. And that was actually quite good.
They actually made it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They when those guys all turned up and found us in there. And
I've still got the badges, their little badges you sew on of your numbers and stuff. I've got them
still got all those.
There. Got them all there in the cupboard,
So, they came in and we had a big night there that night.
Yeah.
Stayed there for a couple of nights at Daly Waters. That was a lot of fun. The people there were really good to us, weren't they?
Yeah, they
were excellent.
Wherever you want to park, just park. They didn't give a shit.
Yeah, and Whippy was there doing his whip cracking.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
He's a good young fella.
He was pretty bloody good. They had a lot of things going on there.
A lot happening there. It was good fun.
And nice, like the water, the pools and stuff.
Pools and stuff were
play
amazing.
around the pools. And no crocodiles, but...
No. Not officially.
No.
Down the river, maybe.
Probably down the river, but...
It wasn't long before we were there. They had that freshie go into that warm water there, remember?
Yes.
They got him out.
They got him out.
But, so we met those army guys there. Big heap of those blokes turned up. They were having a bit of fun. They were on there.
They were moving.
We met up with them again at Daly Waters. Had the tank transporters.
Yeah.
And so we weren't sure where we were going from there. We were on our way home.
Yeah.
We were still deciding whether we were going to Alice Springs for the reunion.
And that's when they cut the reunion back to 3 days, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
Yeah, wouldn't let us in early, put a heap of restrictions on what we could and couldn't do.
Yeah.
And we went down to Daly Waters for a couple of days.
Yeah, that was another cool place.
That was a lot of fun.
You were sitting in that little helicopter.
Yeah.
You were bigger than the helicopter.
Yeah, definitely.
That was hilarious.
Definitely. And then ran into the army blokes again.
Yeah.
And then the second time, they couldn't believe their eyes.
They were,
those boys, they were having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They did put a bit of life into what we were doing.
Oh, yeah, they did. They stoked the fire a bit.
Yeah, definitely. All the people there, that was good.
That was a good thing. And they were just good guys. Like, they were all just... Yeah.
And the same, that I can't remember the fellow's name that was running the Daly Waters there.
Yeah.
He was really good. His car collection and his collection of archive stuff in that shed is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is a place that if anyone's going anywhere nearby needs to go and have a look in that shed.
Just in the middle of nowhere. There's all these bloody cool cars and
yeah,
there was bikes.
yeah.
Of course, there was everything in that shed.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I walked in there. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. And he was another one, though. He can just park wherever you want to park.
Yeah.
Everyone
we went to was the same. We turned up there and if you rang ahead and spoke to them on the phone, they were like, you can't get in here, mate. No
room. Yeah.
And then when you got there, they couldn't do enough for you.
Yeah. I suppose we'd learnt that by the time we got halfway up there.
Halfway up there. You learned not to sort of tell people too much, otherwise they spooked off us because we were so big. And then once you get in there, you're right. But us being truck drivers, probably a little bit different to most people turn up with a big caravan as well. Actually drive it.
Yeah.
So you could park it. Once they worked out you could drive it, they go, you'll be fine.
So wherever you want.
Yeah, makes a big difference. Big difference when you've been doing it all your life as opposed to doing it for a weekend.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So we spent a bit of time at Mataranka, which was really good.
That was another cool place, and then we headed back up, didn't we? From there?
Well, we come out.
That was the decision.
That was the decision. We come out to the highway, and we were sitting there at the crossroad, going, "Do we turn right and go to Alice Springs, or are we going to go left and start working our way across the top?" Because COVID was starting to play funny games
again. Yeah.
And our Premier was playing games, and
the 3 days, bloody, that didn't help, the 3-day thing.
No. And if we went into South Australia, it was a lot tougher to get into Western Australia after that.
Yeah.
But coming out of the territory, we were okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't a problem.
Easier. Yep.
So we went, well, I think it's a bit too shaky, and I think we'll go across the top, didn't we?
Yep. So
the adventure started back.
And
yeah.
That's right. We got through Kununurra, didn't we? And then we got back to Lake Argyle. They were funny at the border.
They were, yeah.
They were hilarious.
Well, before we got there, we got to Kununurra, and it was Kununurra race day, Kununurra Cup. And I wanted to stop for the races. I've been a racing person, but Home Affairs wouldn't let us stop. Said we'd had enough of the racing.
Yep.
And kept going.
Right.
So a couple of more days, like you say, we stopped at, what was that place we stopped out in the ranges there, Bungles? Remember that place? That was really good. There was another place in the middle of nowhere we found by just
sheer luck.
Yeah, that was before we went to Argyle.
Yeah, it was too.
Yeah. That was a good night. Rolled in there. Same thing, they didn't think we'd fit anywhere. But we managed.
Where the hell was that one? Yeah.
So we rolled through that, and then, I can't think what it was called now. I'd have to go back through my photos.
You never look.
Yeah, and have a look and see what it was. Then
a lot of those places we stopped at. Remember we stopped on the roadside that day and we bloody unloaded the Polaris and went away across that river.
That's right. Geez, that was beautiful. That was right.
Just El Polaris was a bit of a godsend, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was cool. You just drop the tail door driver out the back of the float and away you go.
Yeah. Well, we loved having that so much we've ended up buying one ourselves now.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
It's so handy. So much fun.
So much fun. Yeah.
So we rolled through there and worked our way back into Kununurra.
Yep. We went up to Argyle for that first night, didn't we?
Yeah, we didn't enjoy Argyle much, so did we?
Argyle was a shit show.
Yeah, it was a fun.
They gave us the shits and they pissed us off from fucking start to finish. And they run out of piss.
Yeah, run out of,
So we took our own in. Then they packed
and they wanted a blue because we took our own in there because they ran out.
Because they ran out, yeah.
And you go, guys, seriously.
And then
that was a terribly run place. Oh, it was terrible.
It was just, what was it? Ingham's chickens.
Yeah, the chicken snitch.
Caught on blur snitch.
Yeah.
Out of a frigging box with a few potatoes.
It was terrible. That was the worst. I reckon that was probably the worst place we stopped at in our whole journey.
Yep.
It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But it could have been one of the most beautiful places sitting on the lake.
Yeah.
Had everything there, but just no one running it.
They just didn't want to help us either. They didn't want to.
We parked down the road.
Yeah, we parked in that little parking bay. They didn't want to know us. Yeah.
Yeah, there was heaps of room in the place. You could have parked the trucks, no problems, but everything you did there was just, from the get-go, was hard work.
Yeah. Yep.
So we got out of there. We were only there for a very short time. We sort of thought, well,
we're up in the morning.
We're out of here. So we've never seen Lake Argyle, really. We missed a lot.
We missed the whole lot there. Thank Christ me and Wendy had fly, because otherwise we would have missed it like
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
would have been a shit.
So then we headed for there and worked our way back down to
We got back out to the highway and we had a discussion. We were going to turn right or left again.
Yeah, we're nearly going to go back and do the...
WA can stick it up their arse. We're going back to the Northern Territory, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the border closed.
Yeah, we got across the border into Kununurra.
Yeah.
And got up in the morning and Mike,
all over.
Mike, wasn't it, the caretaker?
Yeah.
Kununurra. He's a champion. He come along in the morning. He says, "How did you blokes get here?" So what do you mean? Because I knew you were coming. He said, but I didn't think you were going to get through. He said they closed the border last night. But
Yeah, we must have dodged the bullet there.
yeah, I reckon we got through there. Like would have been the last few come through before they shut it down.
Yeah.
Pretty lucky. So then we spent a few more days in Kununurra there poking around.
Which is cool because we had that up the river.
Yeah, went up the river, got the
tinny.
went and the tinny and poked around. And it was a lot of fun.
That was Kununurra. We went out to that. Was it a rum brewery or a?
Yeah, out to Kimberley Rum Factory, Cane Fire, and there was another one out there. A new one, I can't think of the name now. That was really good.
There was a lot to do there.
There was a lot
That
to
was
do.
another quite cool place.
Quite enjoyed Kununurra. It was very good.
And of course, because we stayed at the racetrack there, it was that was cool. Because there was no pressure either.
No pressure for us. We had they had the rodeo, the camp drafting or something had just been on.
Yeah.
A few of those people still straggling around when we got there.
And
That was good.
Yeah, I really liked it there. That was quite a.
Yeah, I did enjoy
We
that.
spent a bit of time there, I suppose, over both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
And right on the river, relaxed. Plenty of good water.
Yeah.
Green. It was just everything was there for us. Wendy rode a bike around checking things out everywhere she went.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The bike
Out
with
the
no
window
wheels.
there on a bike with no wheels.
Yeah. Only person I've ever seen go on holidays with a push bike with no wheels.
And then she was trying to throw a shopping basket at me. I was filming her do a washing with the drone.
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
We had a lot of fun doing that.
it was.
Where did we go after that, Kununurra?
I came back down. Derby.
Just went and stayed at Kelvin Moore's.
Yes.
Yeah, stayed at Kelvin. He was off somewhere.
Which Derby was a funny place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun there. We stayed there for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Stayed at Kelvin's. That was good.
Yeah.
They were good enough to let us stay in their front yard.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good people. Kelvin's the
Oh.
champion and his wife. They're beautiful people.
Everywhere we stayed.
Yeah.
We just
Stayed with friends and people we knew. And
perfect.
yeah, it was amazing. It was the same thing. We rang Kelvin up and said we didn't want to really stay in town and have trouble with the
Yeah.
locals and stuff because that was one of the biggest problems in Kununurra was the caravan park. They were getting broken into and
And it was all going down there.
it was all going downhill there though and major trouble with the black fellas there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the people down here in Perth and the city, they've got their eyes closed and they don't believe it's really happening, but they really need to go out to Fitzroy Crossing and those places to see what's really happening.
Fitzroy was another one when we stopped there.
Yeah, we got out of there.
You had to stay with your bloody
Stay with your truck as you come back and the windows will be smashed. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's there's a lot more happening up there that people believe, and unfortunately, the people down here in the city have got their eyes closed.
Mm.
I'd like to take them up there and park them up there for a night and show them what really goes on. So no, we got out of there and kept going.
Broome.
Yep, headed for Broome.
Back down there again.
Yeah, race season was over when we arrived. Everyone was gone, so
That's
we pretty
right.
well had the race course to ourselves. Yeah,
And the flies came in.
yeah.
Visitors.
Yeah, Cockatoo Collins, he was about the only one left on course. He lives there.
Yeah.
We caught up with him. And
And we had that, your friend's Tinny.
Yeah, Jake's tinny.
Tinny.
Jake left that there. We had that in Mucky's car.
And I don't know why we went out with you. 'Cause we got fucking nothing.
Got nothing.
That was a waste of a day.
That was a waste of
We
a day.
seen a lot of mangrove. No,
Yeah.
a lot of, what do you call it? Yeah, mangroves, was it?
Yeah, a lot of mangroves. Yeah, she wasn't one of our better trips.
We didn't get a lot
Bit
of
of fun,
fish out
though.
of that, but we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was
bit of
funny as. Yeah.
So we stayed there. No, we stayed there for a few days, didn't we?
Yeah.
Nearly a week.
Yeah, we did actually.
Yeah.
And it was, yeah.
Well,
and it was nice because we were sort of tucked out.
Yeah, tucked in away from everyone and no
Go
one knew we were
swimming
there.
on the beach, and the girls went up to the rocks that day.
Yeah.
I flew the drone up, gave them the shits, chased them around on the rocks.
Yeah.
It was, Broome we spent a fair bit of time there. I
Yeah.
liked it after we left Broome. We come down to the roadhouse and turned right. Went out to remember we went out to the beach there, and you'd never know that beach was there. We stayed
Yeah.
And the ranger gave us shit.
Yeah, that was almost opposite Pardue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was bloody.
He was pretty good, that ranger. Once he come out and seen and
we were driving
See
around the
what-
Clarks and they came over and lost their shit. You can't
told
drive
us
that
off.
round. And then they realised we were in the trucks.
yeah.
Oh, that's your car. Yeah.
So,
that
mate,
was
we don't
quite
have
fun.
anything else to get around on. He goes, oh, well, look, you'll be all right as long as you're not doing anything silly. So, no, well, I'm not going to say we've never done anything silly before, but we're not going to do that here.
No. So we went away up that beach and
Yeah,
that
that
was
was pretty
bloody
amazing.
beautiful. And I mean, how many times have we driven past that? And it was, what, 4 or 5 Ks in
At
there?
the most, yeah.
At the most.
Yeah.
And it was such, Jesus, knowing what I know now, if it was bedtime, I'd go out there and sleep.
Yeah.
Because it
Oh,
was such
amazing.
a magic spot.
Absolutely beautiful. Good boat ramp. Everything was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had
Yeah,
your time and
very
you'd
low
go
key.
again. Yeah. Yeah, it was very amazing.
Yeah.
So and we just kept working our way home then, didn't we? From then on, we sort of worked our way back across through. Where did we stay? It gets a bit blurry after that. We just sort of randomly stopped, didn't we? We didn't really have a lot of
we
people
came
we
back
knew.
down the coast, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We had them in, remember we went into, Christ, the one below Port Italy, Karratha.
Karratha. Yeah.
Remember we went in and all the caravanners trying to get their water and we drove the trucks in into the middle of town there and filled all the water up and shit and blocked the place up.
Yeah, made a bit of a mess there for them.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was good.
That was like karma.
Yeah.
Piss us off. Caravanners piss us off all the time. So we did the opposite. We
Yeah,
did
we
them.
become the caravanners.
Yeah.
We get in under their feet.
That was quite cool.
That was very good. That was a nice place. It's amazing how much that had progressed too when we went in there.
Yeah.
They've gone a long way.
We've gone a long way and stuff like that.
Yeah, worked our way down through Carnarvon and poked around there and
Exmouth.
Exmouth.
Exmouth was one that I liked.
Yeah.
Exmouth was good. Because Exmouth was bloody. We spent a bit of time there and then we went to Coral Bay, didn't we?
Yeah.
No, or did we go to Coral Bay?
No, we went to Coral Bay.
Yeah, and then you came
Then-
home and we went
Yeah, we went home from Coral Bay,
Bay.
and then you went off back to Exmouth.
Yeah.
Stayed up there again because you liked it up there.
Yeah, we stayed there for bloody another 2 or 3 days. It was actually really nice.
Yeah, it was very, very good.
It's come a long way from an old shit town I remember years ago going in there,
Yeah.
and now from
The marina and everything they put in there now, it's
it's
amazing.
probably like you to Darwin.
Yeah, 100%.
Same thing.
Yeah, a bit the same.
It was a hick town
So,
turned
yeah,
into a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Jesus.
definitely.
And there was a
Right,
lot
so,
going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we want to do a bit of a fishing trip up there soon with the boat. Go and stay up there and
Trip
stay there for a
around.
week or two and do a bit of fishing and poking around.
Yeah.
And some friends did it a couple of years ago and stayed up there and got one of those Airbnbs and stayed in the house on the marina and put their boat on the dock. And
Oh, yeah.
it's-
Was brilliant.
Okay, so that's on our bucket list of things to do.
Well, Freddie and him they go up there a bit. Well, they get a Broome, and then they boat from Broome up towards Derby.
Yeah,
I
that's a
love
beautiful
it.
country.
It's just next level fishing.
Yeah, there's a pretty amazing country up there.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine, Harley,
Oh, yeah.
crashed in the front of your truck in Broome.
That's right. I was in the shower. Next minute, I got knocked over. I'm like, what the hell? It was your mate running to the front of my truck.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was funny.
his new ute that was only a couple of days old.
Yeah.
How he didn't do any damage, I'll never know.
And then he backed out of there and ran into the rubbish bin.
Back to
That
the
was
rubbish bin.
hilarious.
Yep, and off he went. So Harley, he's was running a commercial charter business. You know,
That's
with
right.
horizontal falls and everything.
Yeah, he did all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was something we never got to do,
Yes,
which was a bugger.
we sort of wanted to do it, but we timed it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a reason. Yeah, it just
They
didn't
were
work
away
out.
when we were going up or something, and he was home when we come back.
But,
It was at
yeah,
the wrong time.
so that was a bit of a shit.
Yeah, so we'll do a little bit of a run up there with Harley with my boat in a couple of years, and we'll skip that up
Oh, yeah.
and do the horizontal falls
Don't
and
do
with that.
that. Have a look at that.
Yeah. I don't really want to skip up for that. I don't know that country very well.
No.
Look what I found you.
That's it.
Oh, bit of American pool.
Yeah. There you go.
For everything.
Yeah.
What else did we do that was pretty good on that trip?
I think the girls probably didn't like it,
Not as much as we did.
but taking the trucks.
That was
the
it
kick.
for us. Yeah.
Like, once people realised it was us and who it was.
Yeah. You sort of people come along and
It-
had a chat. It
Yeah.
was pretty good. They were definitely very much a talking point for everywhere you went, which made our trip
I reckon
enjoyable.
it's made our trip.
Yeah, definitely. And everywhere you went, when they seen the trucks and they worked out who we were, they come along and went, "Oh, you guys will come and have a beer." Everyone wanted to sort of be part of it then. But if you just rang up and said, "We've got these big trucks with these caravans on them,"
They just run them over.
they said, "No, we don't want it. It's too hard."
Yeah.
Yeah, stuck us out the back. So they definitely helped us.
Yeah.
Definitely helped us
Yeah.
enjoy it. And it was good for the people we met along the way. We met some pretty amazing people through the journey.
Yeah. Yeah, and some and like the army boys,
Yeah,
we would have never
we would never have met those
met
guys
those
if we didn't have the
guys.
trucks.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
just, and because we were right at the front of the camping ground, everyone's seen it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, everywhere we went, they tried to stick you where you could be seen for the people to get a little bit of a talking point for everyone.
And it did. It just
It helped everyone. Helped us, helped them.
Yep.
It was just amazing. It was, something that was worth doing. I'd do it again.
Oh, I'd do it.
I'd definitely do it again in a heartbeat. Yeah. So we got one coming up. We've got Alice Springs coming up
yeah,
again.
Alice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I like the sound of Alice.
Yeah.
Because I still never got there yet. And there's a lot there to.
Well, I still haven't got back there, but I have achieved one thing. I've restored the Mercedes I said I was going to.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
it's ready to go.
Yeah.
So when I was there with Dad in 2015, I said we were going to restore truck one, and we'll take that back to Alice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got there. Obviously, Dad hasn't. He never made it. He's
made
died
it.
in the process, but we'll still get there.
Yeah.
And so we're sort of on the verge of making some plans at the moment for Alice with a bit of a group.
Yep.
So if we can pull it all together, it'll be pretty handy.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good thing. Yeah.
But I'm trying to make it a very large group.
It was cancelled last time.
Yes.
Well, that was the one we.
That was the
no,
one.
Was that the one we were going to go?
No, that one went on. The one we went on to, but they slowed it all down.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a half a show.
Mm.
And Alice Springs was having some issues at the moment with the people.
Yeah.
So the town's not a great place to be in.
Right.
But luckily the Transport Hall of Fame is a fair way out of town.
Town.
It's a bit of a sad story what's happening there, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. We can't do anything
We can't
about
change it. So it's just
it. Yeah. So that would be. Yeah, I'm actually quite. It'd be nice to go and have a look.
yeah. And it's probably the one place that I've found that all the old transport guys that have been here for a long time
Go to.
go to that. Get us all together.
Yeah.
You know,
You
it's
meet all
amazing.
those characters and
Yeah.
all those good people.
Yeah, and sadly we've lost a lot of guys since 2015 because they're all old guys.
Yeah.
And we've lost a lot of the guys who will go back and we'll miss those fellas, but there's still a lot of us still here too. So
Yeah. And I met a lot of, in the last wee while, I met a lot of guys, older guys in Melbourne that are
yeah,
that old generation that, in the next few years, they'll be the ones that fall
Yeah,
off
they
the
drop
coach.
off,
So
yeah,
now's the time to go and meet them and see them.
yeah, and have a bit of fun.
Yeah,
It really
some
is
fun.
about going there and having a beer with all the boys that and
And taking the trucks is another big thing,
Oh, absolutely.
Just-
it will take a week to get there.
yeah.
Well, usually it'll take us 3 days, but it'll take a bit over a week to get there.
To get there and so no, I'd be quite keen for that actually.
Yeah, so we
Clean
can
the
pull
old
it together.
grill up and get it out,
Yeah, take the caravan.
take the caravan and hook it on the back and cruise away.
But no, I'll try and build a bit of a crew up. I've got a few guys that are pretty keen on going at the moment,
Yep.
so it's looking good.
Yeah, and it's just to get a few guys, isn't it?
Yeah. And it gives me an excuse to pull some of the old trucks out of the shed. Take
Yep.
them over.
Take them over and have a look. And,
Yeah. We'll have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
It's all about the adventure getting there and getting back, isn't
Well, I think after doing the Darwin trip, the adventure was the thing.
it? Oh, absolutely.
That was just
Yeah.
next level, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd recommend it for anyone who wants to do that with a couple of trucks and a couple of fifth wheelers.
And you know what? At the end of the day, a few people went, "Oh, yeah, how can you afford that?" But economical wise, they're no different to driving a car when you haven't got a load on.
No.
And you're ticking along at 80, 90.
Yeah, you're not rushing them. You know, our fuel bill at the end of it was probably not a lot worse than most blokes would be in a 200 series with a 20-foot van on.
That's right.
By the time you load it up with all the gear and everything on it, the chair weight, they use the fuel.
Yeah.
We definitely would have used less than a bloke in the V8 Nissans.
Yeah, you're right there.
There's ones today.
Yeah. And, you know, and really the outlay of it. It was actually less than a new caravan. You know, we had trucks and fifth wheelers.
Yeah.
But it was actually the outlay was less than a new caravan and a new bloody, you know.
We had this conversation.
Listen or whatever the hell.
Yeah, had this conversation with people nearly everywhere we went. They went, oh, geez, you guys, you flash outfits. You go, well, you work out what their 200 series was worth in their caravan. You know, they had over $200,000 invested in that. We didn't have that invest in the trucks we had.
Half the year it sits in the yard, does nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas our trucks drive up and down the road every day. And shit. Yeah. Yeah. So that was quite an interesting learn too, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And when you explain it to people, they go, oh, yeah, that's actually probably, you know, because we don't have 100 grand sitting in the driveway when we're away in the truck.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're driving around in there. Yeah.
That was the thing we learned along the way, and same as my caravan, we still have it and I still use it today. And you know, we go to horse events and different things, and it's our home when we go away.
Yeah.
So it does get used.
So it's still being used every day. Yeah. Yeah, no.
We do all that stuff with that.
So.
But no, I definitely roll that again.
That was. I just like that. You know, I don't believe you can go past so many places. You know, we get to sleep in a different place every night all over the country.
Yeah.
But you miss so many places that you just can't stop and sleep and see.
And see, yeah, go on adventure and have a look.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've been to most places around Australia in a truck. Definitely all the capital cities.
Yep.
In and out of all those places, but I've never ever actually got out of the truck and gone and seen any of it.
Yeah.
Properly.
Yep.
Yeah. It's,
yeah.
it was good to be able to just go and do whatever we wanted to do. Yeah.
And we picked the right time of the year. There was nothing going on. And then, of course, I suppose because we had, we were going to go to Alice, we had that window of time.
Yeah.
And I suppose that made a bit of it too, because we had that bloody window of time where when we came back to WA, we spent it ginning around looking at stuff that we never ever would have looked at 100%. Anyway.
No pressure, no time, nowhere to be.
Nowhere to be, because we were already had our holiday worked out.
Yeah. And that was probably one of the best parts about it, is having no plans.
Yeah.
Just day by day. If you like the place, we'll stay longer. If you didn't, we went on.
Yep.
No bookings and no plans made it more enjoyable, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Just fly by the seat of your pants a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and there was an odd day there. We did a few big Ks.
Yeah.
But there was nothing in those big Ks
that we wanted to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, which makes a hell of a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it was it was awesome. So we'll keep working towards this Alice as our...
I reckon Alice could be the next thing.
Yeah.
We've got a show coming up in October. We've got to be over in Sydney or Melbourne, and they're going to take us over there for a show over there. Some Wall of Fame or something. Wall of Fame. Truck shows.
Yeah.
So we've got that coming up as well. So we've got a few, and of course we've got Wheels of Wanaka. We fly out tonight.
Tonight for that, yeah.
For that, we've got my sister's funeral in New Zealand, and then we've got the Wheels of Wanaka over there in Easter weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be
enjoyable.
Yeah.
That will be good.
So that'll be a nice outing. And that's 100 years of Caterpillar.
That'll be good.
So
a good number, yeah.
Yeah. It was a bit of a bugger because last weekend or the weekend? I was away actually. Yeah, it was last weekend.
Yeah.
They had 100 years of Caterpillar here down at Brunswick, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
You'll see that.
Lights on the Hill, was it?
Yeah, had their Lights on the Hill thing and the 100 years of Caterpillar.
Yeah, which was a piss off because I wanted to go to that. We were away over east filming.
Yeah.
We were filming Lucky Truckers, so...
that would have been a good weekend.
Yeah, that would have been.
I'm a bit unlucky here. I miss a lot of the shows in WA because they clash with other events.
Yeah. And it'll be your bloody horse time.
Yeah, all busy horse time. January through to June, we get pretty busy.
Yeah.
And we tend to have most of our truck shows and things start happening.
Then,
Yeah, fairs, all that sort of stuff happen around that time, and that's when all the transport stuff happens with the shows. So we've missed a few of them. I haven't been to many this year, which is a bit sad, but
yeah, because we had the sheep one the other day too. Did you go to the sheep one?
yeah, I went to that. Yeah. That was well done. Very, very well run.
There was a lot of publicity over it.
Yeah,
It was a good
it was
thing.
good. They made a mark. I'm not sure that I'd like to think that we can save it, but I'm not sure
I
we're
reckon
going to get it
these two
through.
good of bastards are
Yeah.
going to wreck it. They don't see the big picture.
No.
Just dig ourselves more of a hole.
Yeah, they definitely don't see the big picture in it. It's they've cleaned it up and fixed up a lot of the problems that were in the industry,
Yeah.
and it's the same old story. If you fix that up, they just complained about the next problem, and they've kept going, and now they're starting to talk about problems that are out of our country, and after the animals are unloaded off the boats, well, at that point, as sad as it is, they're not our problem anymore.
No.
We've got them there, welfare's right all the way through, and everything's done properly. That's the end of our contract. It's about people getting too involved in other people's business. That's all it comes down to.
And I remember, Jesus, when we started, like 1986, when we were doing boats, when I first got here.
Yeah.
From where we were there to where we are now, it's just incredible.
Totally different.
It's just awesome. They've cleaned it up, they've done it. Yes, you don't. You're always going to have issues.
Yeah.
Boats break down and things happen, but they've cleaned it up and made it so good.
Those boats are just so well run, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
The animals, while they're on the boats, are living better on there than what they do when they're at home on the farms.
yeah,
They really do.
bloody oath they do.
I can remember, just a trivial thing, it's when I was probably around 10, I suppose, around 10 years of age. So that would have been, say, the early 90s. We were still taking horses to the wharf in Fremantle and putting them into a converted shipping container. They were converted into like a small stall, and they were shipping horses on the boats in. So we used to walk them off the trucks and walk them into the containers, and the horses just stand there with their heads out with the feed bins and waters and everything there set up. And then the stable hands and the vet would travel with them on the ship, and they put them on the container ship where they could get to them, and those horses would be there for the journey wherever they went.
Jesus, that's unreal.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Wow,
I would
that's
imagine Singapore and those type of places where they would have been going for the racing in the early days, before the planes really got going.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because everything's done with plane now.
Now it's all planes, yeah.
So are they proper horse planes?
No, there's a couple of proper horse planes around that purely that's all they do is fly horses. They walk them in and they like walking into a horse truck and they stand in them. But now they have like a box. So like your shipping crates that you have for your normal cargo, converted, and they put 2 or 3 horses in each one. They're designed purely for the horses.
Yeah.
And so the international ones are a big crate with a roof on them and everything on. They probably look like a horse float with no wheels.
Right.
Basically, is how to explain them.
Yep.
And then what they do then is they have the domestic ones that flat back, so they fold down and they can stack them up. They're cheaper to bring home empty.
Yep.
So a lot of horses will fly into Western Australia out of Melbourne or Sydney
Yeah.
for the racing carnivals, big show events, when there's big events on. And then they'll fly them back home for the end of the race carnivals and things like that.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty amazing what they do. People don't realise how many horses fly and move around the country.
Yeah.
And all over the world.
It's bloody colossal.
Oh, huge. And fly them in and out of New Zealand. Huge. Every week.
Yeah, right.
Full time, all the time. And I can remember them coming on the boats out of New Zealand.
Yeah, Wendy asked me about that the other day. I said, oh, no, they're flying. But I suppose in the old days they used to ship.
Yeah, it used to be shipping. So,
Yeah.
used to all do that. And the same with, I guess, the planes getting better, more of them,
Yeah.
and technology getting better.
Better.
The horses get onto the planes now, and for animal welfare, it's much better.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's less time, isn't it?
Less time. Yep, short times.
Yeah.
Probably flying in and out of New Zealand, the longest time is getting to and from the airport and getting them onto the plane.
Plane.
That's where the time goes.
Yeah.
The actual flight itself is pretty simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's it's a great industry that's changed a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, even when we carted those horses for the fires and stuff, like I learned a lot then.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was cool.
That was a big few days.
And that was another thing I learned.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was huge. Well, I think we shifted 700 horses that week for the fires.
Jesus, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
And the devastation that we're seeing was just...
That was the other thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, people don't see that devastation of it all.
No, and because we were going in, pulling them out before the places, and some of the places we went back to were gone.
Yeah. Nothing left. Yeah.
Some of the places were so badly burnt down that it was like they'd been erased. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
Just
The
not a
place
thing
was just
left.
flat to the ground.
And
It was like,
just
wow.
crisp.
Yeah.
Everything burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. We had a couple of close calls through that fire, didn't we? A couple got chased a couple of times and a few things happened.
Yeah.
You had to be on the ball.
It wasn't.
Then we had horses spread from the State Equestrian Centre, evacuated them. Ended up at Magic Millions. And then we're Ascot. Every stable we knew we had in Ascot we could fill.
And
Horses everywhere. They were absolutely
you don't realise
everywhere.
there's so many bloody horses around.
Oh, unbelievable.
And it was bloody touching too, like kids, you know,
Yeah.
like just with their horses and their horses, their life.
Yeah.
You know, you don't sort of,
The
people don't
horses
see
are their
that
life.
side and
Yeah. When these guys have their horses, they're like their family. They love them like you wouldn't believe.
yeah.
It's
So
just,
no, it was, yeah, that was another cool thing we've done.
Yeah.
We're always up to something different.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We've got a few photos and things you've got to put up
Yeah.
from that, sort of highlight a bit of that. That'd be good.
Highlight a bit of that and show a bit of that because that was a good thing.
Yeah, it was. That was. It was a lot of hard work, but it was worth doing. It was the
A
people.
lot of satisfaction.
Yeah. The appreciation out of the people.
Yeah.
But it amazed us when we finished run up. It was just people kept coming up to the office and getting in touch and
Yeah.
just couldn't believe
Yes.
couldn't
Yeah.
believe what you did out of just trying to help as to how
And
appreciated
I
it
think
was.
it was good too. Outback Truckers followed it.
Yep.
And which was another good thing because then it shows the true life of it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't show you the dramatised side of the show. It gives you the real.
When there's a fire, there's a
What
fire.
was really
and
happening, yeah.
The burnt shit.
Yeah.
No drama.
There was no makeup. There was no
Yeah.
no make believe stuff in that. It was really what was going on.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the other stuff is just sort of clips and bits and pieces. Pick out what you want and
Yeah.
present it how they want to see it.
Whereas
Which
that
is about
was really-
ratings more than anything, isn't it?
Yep. Whereas
Gives
this
people
was
interest.
just clean
Yeah.
every day, and the people, the people crying and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. The emotions was
the
amazing.
emotions was big.
Yeah. There's a lot of emotions lost in that when we were there doing that.
So
I think by the end of it, we're all starting to get a bit emotional with it.
yeah,
It was pretty sad.
it was just But everyone stands together and helps. So
Yeah.
that's the main thing.
That's the one thing about our horse community always does do that.
Yeah,
They always pull together pretty good when there's something bad happens.
they always
They do
stand
fine.
and help each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Not like the transport community. We've forgotten how to do that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that I'm trying to get back with the new show.
Yeah.
You
Get
know,
the mateship back.
Shelley, I met, I've been guiding her along, and I'm saying, when people break down on the roadside, don't drive past them.
No, check.
Stop. See if they're all right. Because one day, sure as eggs, you're going to break down.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
give a shit what anyone says. We don't get away with driving forever without a breakdown.
100%. 100% correct. Your maintenance schedule can be as good as you like.
Yep.
One day, it's going to happen.
It's going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
And it is. It's about, and that's, this new generation of drivers, a lot, and it's probably a lot of overseas drivers that just don't get it.
No.
I suppose they don't get the distances we are. And if something goes to shit, no one's out there to help you.
No, it's a problem.
Like
I remember back in our days, in the early days going up north, if you pulled over on the side of the road, every truck that went past pulled up. And then there'd be 10 or 12 trucks pulled up having a chat.
Yeah.
You just we all pulled up on the road.
Yep.
No one cared, no one worried. And now if you pulled up on the side of the road, some lunatic would be trying to go past you at 100 and run you over.
Yeah. Well, that's about what it is.
Good,
isn't
yeah.
it?
The people aren't like this. We always used to slow down. Even if you didn't stop, you'd pull up alongside the bloke and go, do you need anything? Are you right?
Yeah.
And then off you'd go again.
And that's a big thing of this industry now.
Yeah, we've lost it.
We've lost it.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's hurting the industry too.
Oh, for sure.
Hugely, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take 2 minutes to go, are you all right?
No, exactly right.
You know, yep, I'm fine, no worries.
And a lot of that stems from, again, people's training.
Yeah.
How you were brought into the industry, where we came from. You and I, second generation, came from those early days, and we were taught to do that.
That stuff, yeah.
The new guys today, you know, they come in, whether you be an Australian born or you're someone who's imported, which when you think about it years ago, you know, non-Australian drivers aren't a new thing here.
No.
Because we used to have the Italians and the Maltese and,
yeah,
you know, they were the Slavs. Everyone had trucks.
That's right.
And when I was a kid, half them would speak a bit of English, but not great. And they were doing their best. They were hard workers, but they had a different work ethic.
Yeah.
They'd still stop. They'd all be part of it. They were mates. They looked after each other. Whereas today with our drivers, no one knows anybody.
No.
This is one of the things I find. You know, we know a few of the old guys around and they all know us, but I can go for a trip now. Well, I just spent a week going from Perth, Gaggle to Esperance. And I reckon if I passed 5 trucks that I knew the people driving them, I'd be doing well. Before I'd have passed 5 trucks by the time I got to Northern.
Yeah.
Then I knew the routes.
Yeah.
It was just it's how it's changed.
Yeah.
But we come from a transport background. We're trained to look after your gear, do it properly, learn how to load the freight.
That's a very good point.
So when we started driving, we were a long way into it.
Yeah, we've been at it for years.
Yeah, but these poor buggers, they come in, we need drivers, so that's what they come here to be. They get them a licence, and they send them out on the road with lack of experience.
Yeah.
But then how do you teach them? So these poor buggers, they come along, are they going to... And we all know the difference. You know, I cart horses.
Don't they?
Yeah. I cart horses. You've got to know how to transport a horse. Livestock's the same. Fuel. Yeah. You get into hanging meat.
Yeah.
You know, all these different things you've got to learn how to transport.
Yeah.
You know, no one's teaching them, so they get their licence, turn it, go, and drive a truck. So they get in and drive the truck. But
then they all fall over. And they go, why?
You got a fridge full of hanging meat, you go into the first corner and tip it over, you go, well, what happened?
Yeah.
Well, no one told you.
That's exactly right.
So we learnt to drive the trucks that we came into through coming up from young kids.
From nothing to no one at all.
Yeah, you knew a lot of stuff before you even drove the truck.
Yeah.
So it comes back to being a training system. It's an issue with a licensing. But should the industry then go, okay, you've got an MC licence, now you can drive a road truck.
Well,
but in that, what can you carry?
Yeah.
You know, you've got to have DG licences naturally for all that sort of stuff. But then you have a licence for carting refrigerated. How do you know the meat temps and the temps you've got to have and how to run a fridge?
All that stuff. I would have no bloody idea.
No, but we did all that stuff years ago when we were at Centurion in the early days. So you learn all that stuff.
Yep.
You got guys carting refrigerated, you got guys carting hanging meat, you got guys carting the livestock, you got guys carting
all
fuel.
Different stuff.
Powder tankers.
Yeah.
You know, you go through the different types of freight we have. How to load general freight.
Different. You know?
Yeah. How to tie it on. How to load steel. How to tie steel on. It's all different.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know how to stick things together and make them so they don't move. And they put rubber between the steel and all the little things we do that we learn that because of experience.
Yeah.
How do you get the experience?
Rubber and bloody all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we learn as we went up, whereas they just drop in.
I've seen them on the road, up the road with blokes.
They don't get taught.
Yeah, you see a guy up there hasn't had his license very long and he'd be halfway to Kalgoorlie with a load of rock bolts all over the road. He didn't know how to tie them on properly.
Yep.
But that's just experience. But it's just where
we're not teaching them properly.
Yeah, before you have your heavy vehicle driver's license, what type of freight are you going to cart? And we'll do a training course for that freight.
Yeah.
If you want to cart a different type of freight, maybe you should do a training course for that. Learn how to tie the loads, learn how to load the loads, and then you'll know you'll go up the road safely.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
Because they have no idea.
No.
And I know that from a lot of, you know.
And a lot of the guys come off the mines.
Yeah.
You know, they get on the mines and they have to have a truck licence to drive the dump trucks and all that stuff on the mines. And they turn up off the mines, get sick of that and go, I can drive a truck, mate. Give me a job.
Yep.
So you throw them in there and you go, they've never loaded anything or tied anything on or...
Well, they've never been allowed to, have they?
No, don't know how to do the weights. No load of trucks so the weights are right. It's the same as us with our heavy haulage business.
Yep.
You've got to know what you're doing.
Got to know where it sits.
We see a lot of guys out there. now that don't have the experience.
Yeah.
You know, the plant hire companies that buy their own low loaders and go, okay, I'll cut my own machine's cheaper.
But they don't.
You see them driving up the road and you think, man,
Look at that. No
what are you doing?
The shit's trying to fall off.
Yeah, it's going to fall off, weights are wrong. And
We
you
had a
just
guy
think,
on
crazy.
just the other day sitting out here, and I'm like, why is he parked on the roadside outside our gate? And he's got a skip bin.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what is he doing? And about 2 hours later, a tyre guy turns up. He obviously had a flat tyre.
Yeah.
Sat here for 2 or 2.5 hours, and I'm going, oh, you've got to be shitting.
Yeah, crazy, you know.
We wonder why everything costs so much. Because if you can't drive it, you can't change, you can't change a wheel. What the hell are you doing driving it?
But I guess, and then it comes back to the same problem. Big company syndrome.
Yep.
A lot of those big companies like your Cubes and those guys, well, they're not allowed to change tyres.
No.
So, and again, carrying the equipment, experience, have injuries, workers' compensation changes the whole thing. So,
Yeah. And I think that's another big thing. And it's like you're saying, teaching the freight. You know, you've got a freight thing, you know, this Centurion and all that, toll, they all load them up.
yeah.
But they don't tell them to stop
No.
and pull it down. They just send them off.
Yeah, send them off.
You know, so it's a bit of a teaching is a big thing we need to get turned around.
Yes.
So, oh well, we better wind this up, I suppose.
We go for another time.
Go for another day.
Yep.
We've got to have some lunch
Yeah, that'll do us. Do that.
and then get on.
Get ready to get on a plane.
I suppose. Get on a bloody plane and go and bury my sister.
Yeah. Yeah,
Put her
sad
on the
week.
ground. That'll be an exciting week, won't it?
Yeah. Just what you want to go do.
Yeah. Could have done without that. I was actually going to visit her this time. Not
Yeah,
bloody
yeah.
Put her in a home. But I suppose I'm going to get to visit her.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she'll be in a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's had a few years of shit, so
Yeah.
that'll be one of those things.
Yes,
It's
for
only
sure.
two things. You're born, you pay taxes, and you die.
Yeah, pretty
Three
well.
things. Yeah. That's pretty much the whole
Pretty
lot of
simple
it.
way of
Yeah,
putting
pretty
it. Like-
simple way of life.
Yeah, the circle of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Unless you're a dodgy prick, you don't pay taxes. There's plenty of them around.
No, yeah, for sure. I can tell you I pay enough tax.
Yeah. Yeah, I've paid enough.
Yeah,
Now I am dodging it. Yeah. I just can't kill myself yet.
No,
It's
no,
not working.
not working. We had a couple of goes.
Yeah, lately. I've given up though.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to have some more fun.
All right. Well, we better go get organised.
We better
Good
go
to catch
and
up.
organise. Thanks. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. We'll catch up again soon.
Definitely. Enjoy.
So that beer's lasted a long time, Mr. Ramsay.
I kept it
Yeah.
steady, so it was good.
I can't believe it. I'm on the second and you're just getting the bottom.